If you're new to reselling on Amazon or you're interested in getting started, you might be wondering what is the best way to learn how to do this, because if you look on YouTube, if you look on TikTok, there are hundreds if not thousands of videos talking about all manner of different things, and you might look at that pile of stuff and think, I can't be bothered. But I'm going to tell you the best way to learn Amazon, and this way makes total sense. Each step, as you complete it, the next step will be that bit easier, and this is really the best way to do Amazon. Okay, if you're going to find resources, if you're going to find videos, these are the things you need to do in order. So firstly, prepare yourself. You need to be open to the idea of a whole new business prospect. If you've never sold online before, if you've never been doing any form of reselling, if you've never had your own business, this is going to be quite a new thing, and you just need to open your mind to the fact that that's the case. And there'll be a new set of challenges, there'll be a new set of goals, new things to learn that you probably wouldn't have learned otherwise without getting into this space. Accept that mistakes are entirely possible and that they're okay, as you'll learn from them. Yes, you will make mistakes, that's the reality of it, but to be fair, every single Amazon seller does, and it's no different to any other job really, because everyone is human and everyone does make a mistake, and it's better to get them out at the start than later down the line. And even down the line, it's okay, it happens. And what can we take away from that? How do we prevent that from happening ever again? If you look at the 7-figure Amazon sellers that basically just do YouTube as a full-time job now because they've automated their business, they've been doing it for years, they've been killing it, they can still make mistakes, and they've made 100 and so on mistakes to get to the point that they're at. And why they're still here, why they're still doing the thing that they're doing, is because they never gave up and they learned from mistakes. Go at a pace that suits you. Now, I'm going to say don't go too fast because you'll just overload yourself. Do what feels right for you, but also don't go too slow. It's very easy to procrastinate and go, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do it next week, or I'll do it at my next paycheck, or I'll do it in the new year. I don't know. But don't let that be the case, okay? Set yourself a routine of, I'm going to spend an hour doing some learning every day at this time, every other day at this time, and actually get yourself to do it. Just do it. Even if you're not feeling it, just make yourself do it. Put something on, start learning, and you will be away with Amazon before you know it. Set aside a starting budget / capital. Now aim for somewhere within the range of £100 to £500, $100 to $500. This is sort of like a very beginner budget. You can obviously put more into it if you want to put more into it, but if you're looking at sort of like a minimum, I would recommend somewhere between those two figures right there. If you're doing online arbitrage or retail arbitrage. If you want to get into wholesale at the beginning, then I would recommend a much bigger budget, at least 1,000. Okay, that's what you're looking at there. But if you're looking at just a little bit of reselling here and there, a bit of online arbitrage, a bit of retail arbitrage, then that kind of budget is okay, as long as you've got enough for some products, obviously. The Amazon subscription fees, prep materials if you are doing any prep yourself, a bit of money for software services, that sort of thing. So I would say somewhere in between that is fine, and my recommended, but obviously the more you can put into that, the better it's going to be. Number 1, the basics. Familiarize yourself with basic Amazon terminology or you're going to get lost very, very quickly. So FBA, OA, SKU, those things are abbreviations and Amazon terms and things that like sellers have kind of like made up, but they become the lingo in the space. There's all manner of like Amazon related phrases and words and things like that. So it's best to get to know what those things means. That way you understand what people talk about in their videos. So just as an example there, FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, OA, online arbitrage, SKU is stock keeping unit, and so forth. Get together a plan of action so you're ready to hit the ground running when you start. So obviously, like when you get started and you are finding your first products, like is it going to be that your focus is you're going to just find stuff that you can kind of sell straight away, or are you just going to get stuck in with getting ungated? What is your criteria for deals and so forth? There's a few things to put in place and just sort of like clock, so that way when you start it's smooth sailing, well, as smooth sailing as possible. Decide on which method you want to start with. So online arbitrage or retail arbitrage. Are you finding your products online, are you finding them in store, or are you doing both? Decide on a fulfillment method. So FBA or FBM, fulfillment by Amazon, they basically get the stuff to the customers for you and you send your stuff to them. FBM, fulfillment by merchant, you handle the prep, you handle the Communications, you handle getting stuff out to the customer when you get an order. So which one do you want to do? Set up a Seller Central account, and I'd recommend a pro subscription, just because if you get an individual, it's not going to be long before you need to get pro anyway, and it just puts you at the same level as everyone else and you aren't restricted in any way. So get yourself a pro account. Number 2, risks. Learn about ungating and how you're going to tackle this. So again, this goes hand in hand with what I was saying. Like, do you want to find stuff that you are already ungated for, which, to be real with you, there's not going to be like a load. There is going to be enough, but there's not going to be so much where you would be like, okay, I don't need to get ungated, because you will need to get ungated. So how are you going to tackle that? Like, are you planning to maybe do a little bit of wholesale first to make it really easy on yourself to get some invoices, or what are you going to do? Ensure you check IP for brands to avoid suspension. So if you get yourself a deal analysis tool like BuyBot Pro, for example, that has an IP radar in it. So that will tell you if a brand is problematic or not. And the big thing with that is brands basically saying, no, we don't want third-party sellers to resell our stuff. And it's important that we look out for that. We can't ignore it. We can't hide from it. We need to know 100%. I'm not even joking. We 100% need to know about IP. If we don't know, we are buying blind and we are putting ourselves and our business at risk. So to avoid getting suspended, check for IP. Get yourself a deal analysis tool like BuyBot Pro, and that will tell you IP stuff. If you've chosen FBM, how are you going to be as efficient as possible? So what's going to be your prep schedule? When is your collections going to be? Like, how are you going to handle getting stuff out to customers? Are you going to use it? Like, what courier are you going to use? Amazon account health, obviously keeping an eye on all of that as well, and making sure that you are able to keep your account healthy and ensure that you have no late deliveries, you're getting good feedback, you are keeping your inventory up to date. Budget, obviously I already mentioned a bit about your starting budget, but ensuring that you are putting enough back into your business to keep it running, because a big mistake people make is that they just go, oh wow, I've sold a load of stuff, I'll take all that money now and I'll just spend it on whatever. But no, your business needs feeding as well, so you need to put enough money back into your business in order to keep going with it. Sourcing. Decide your deal criteria. What do you want the minimum profit to be? What ideally would you want the BSR to be? ROI. Sales per month. There's a few things to think about there. Learn the different ways that you can source, the reverse sourcing, storefront stalking. Those are useful techniques. Learn how to best navigate a store and spend your time. So, for example, if you walk into a supermarket, you are going to want to ignore all of the supermarket branded stuff, because those things aren't on Amazon, so you're just wasting your time there. Also, it's probably better to look at like toys and games over foodstuffs, obviously, because foodstuffs can be a bit problematic because of expiry dates and things like that. Put as much effort into sourcing as possible. For analysis, so learn how to read sales charts. Again, pay attention to IP. The sales charts, by the way, I just realized that I probably should emphasize what's the word? I've lost the word. Should add on to what I was just saying there. So sales charts are going to essentially reveal the history of that product, how well it's been selling, how well it's currently selling, so that way you can make that judgment on how well it's going to sell in the future. Try selling in open categories first to get the ball rolling, and then attempt ungating, or just get stuck in with ungating. Either way is good. Get a deal analysis tool like BuyBot Pro. Prep. Read Amazon's prep requirements carefully. You can't just prep it how you think is right. You've got to do it to Amazon's guidelines. They have got documentation in Seller Central on how exactly to prep stuff. Ensure you know how to prep correctly. There's loads of videos on this. Get hold of the right prep materials. So you can order a load of the right prep materials off of Amazon, off of eBay, off of even Temu. If you're doing retail arbitrage, ask the store for some boxes. There's loads of places you can get prep materials from, and also consider a prep center. If you just can't be bothered with prep, which I wasn't when I started, I got myself a prep center straight away. You can look into a prep center and you can order your stuff to there, so you don't have to wait in for deliveries. You don't have to prep anything yourself. The prep center will handle all of that for you. Reprice. So learn how to set good minimum maximum parameters for the pricing of your products, so that way you are still making a profit. Understand what you can about the Amazon buy box, so get to know about how it works. I know I've got videos on this channel about how it works, so please check those out. Consider utilizing repricing tools like Profit Protector Pro, because they can automate the repricing process for you and make you more money. And also understand the difference between rule-based and AI-powered repricing. which Profit Protector Pro can also help with. Selling and what comes next. Find out about Amazon's rules and suspensions. You want to be able to avoid suspensions. If you get suspended, your business is basically cooked. But obviously, if we know how to avoid suspensions, we know what the rules are, we can definitely avoid suspensions. Learn how best to handle returns/queries. Invest back into your business in order to scale. Educate yourself with free resources. There's loads out there: podcasts, videos, documents, articles. If you find that you need further help and want an experienced teacher, you can consider mentoring. There's loads of Amazon sellers that are offering mentoring. Obviously, you need to go with someone who's got a good portfolio, appears to be trustworthy due to other people's reviews and like clear evidence that they are teaching stuff and it is serving people well. You will know a good mentor when you see one. But yeah, those I would say are the best steps to take. So start with the basics, move on to risks, then sourcing, then analysis, then prep, then repricing, and then some of these extra bits and pieces, and you will build yourself a good foundational knowledge of how to resell on Amazon. So follow this plan, save this video somewhere, and learning how to resell will be an absolute breeze. Thank you for watching.